Welcome to part 3 of 50 movie facts that you probably didn't know. In this video Zarpato, you will know 50 curiosities and secrets about the films that you watch every day. Don't forget to subscribe and start right now. The Jungle Book was the last animated film that Walt Disney personally supervised before his death in December 1966. It was released 10 months after his death, making it a tribute to his passion for animation. And it was a box office success too, with a budget of $4 million. The Jungle Book managed to gross $142 million. Christian Bale is known for his dedication to his characters and his ability to physically transform himself. For his role in The Machinist, Bale lost over 60 pounds and then gained over 90 pounds to play Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. In the movie Django Unchained, there is a scene where Calvin Candy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is in the middle of an intense and emotional argument with another character, played by Christoph Waltz. In a moment of rage and desperation, Candy punches a table and accidentally breaks a glass with his hand. What makes this scene shocking is that DiCaprio's reaction was completely improvised and genuine. He actually cut his hand. In the acclaimed film Spider-Man: No Way Home, a seemingly inconsequential detail has captivated the most observant fans. The license plate number of the taxi that appears in a fleeting scene, 1228. This number, far from being random, hides a moving tribute to the legendary Stan Lee, creator of the iconic superhero, as it is his date of birth, December 28th. In the film Rambo: First Blood, the character of Colonel Sam Troutman was originally to be played by Kirk Douglas, a legendary actor admired by Sylvester Stallone himself, who played John Rambo. However, Douglas was not able to play the role, and Richard Crenna was eventually hired almost at the last minute and before filming began. But Stallone and Douglas crossed paths again in the comedy Oscar Hands Off. Christopher Nolan, director of Interstellar, instead of using special effects or CGI to create the setting for this film, Nolan decided to grow 500 acres of corn in Alberta, Canada for the film. At the end of filming, Nolan not only had a real and unique setting, but he was also able to sell the harvested corn. This allowed him to recoup part of the initial investment and even make a profit. Disney's The Lion King was partly inspired by Shakespeare's Hamlet. In Hamlet, Prince Hamlet struggles to avenge his father's death and faces moral and ethical dilemmas in the process. In The Lion King, Simba is forced to confront his uncle Scar, who usurps the throne and is responsible for the death of his father, King Mufasa. During the filming of Schindler's List, which was released in 1993, Steven Spielberg refused to take his salary as director and donated the money to the Shoah Foundation, which helps preserve the memory of the Holocaust, as the film was about the Holocaust. The relationship between the characters of Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, and his father, Henry Jones Sr., played by Sean Connery, is curious because in real life there is only a 12-year age difference between the two actors, which is not much. In the film Star Wars: A New Hope, the actor who played Darth Vader, David Prowse, was not the same person who voiced him. Darth Vader's voice was provided by James Earl Jones. Princess Tiana from The Princess and the Frog not only shares Annika Noni Rose's voice, but also many of her physical and personal characteristics. Disney animators were inspired by the actress to bring the character to life. In the film The Shining, the iconic scene where Jack Torrance chases Wendy with an axe was filmed over 3 days. Director Stanley Kubrick wanted the scene to feel real and exhausting, so he did not use doubles. Despite being a relatively young actress at the time, at just 23 years old, Julia Roberts played a pivotal role in the success of the film Pretty Woman. She was responsible for convincing Richard Gere, who had initially turned down the lead role, to finally join the project. To achieve this, Roberts even traveled to New York for a personal meeting with Gere, where she finally managed to persuade him. Despite its current fame, The Wizard of Oz was not an immediate box office success upon its release in 1939. Like Cleopatra, it was an extremely expensive film for the time. and it took a long time to recoup the initial investment. It was not until almost 2 decades after its release that it finally managed to turn a profit. In West Side Story, 2 roles for 2 major world figures were rejected. Elvis Presley was considered for the lead role of Tony. However, his agent dissuaded him from accepting the role, and he would later regret it. Natalie Wood, on the other hand, was not the initial candidate for the role of Maria. This was to be played by Audrey Hepburn, but the actress, pregnant with her husband, the actor Mel Ferrer, was forced to reject the offer. In the film Death Race, we can see a detail that pays homage to a classic motor racing film, The 24 Hours of Le Mans. Jason Statham's character, nicknamed Frankenstein, wears a racing suit that bears a great resemblance to the one worn by Steve McQueen in The 24 Hours of Le Mans. The similarity is so evident that only the change of color differentiates the 2 suits. Stephen King is the author with the greatest number of film adaptations of his works. This American writer, known as the Master of Terror, has seen 314 of his works transformed into films, television series, and miniseries. Without a doubt, the most iconic is It or The Shining. Before Keanu Reeves was offered the role of Neo in The Matrix, top-level actors such as Will Smith, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, and Nicolas Cage turned down the role. Will Smith turned it down to star in Wild Wild West, which he considers one of his biggest mistakes in his career. The scene in Forrest Gump, in which Forrest runs through a field during his transcontinental journey, was filmed in Monument Valley, on the border between Arizona and Utah. This location has been used in many famous films, including several classic westerns. Samsung created a Matrix-themed cell phone. The Matrix phone was created specifically for the film Matrix Reloaded, which debuted in 2003. After its appearance in the film, only 5,000 units were produced that had the ability to make calls. With a budget of around $200 million, The Gray Man is positioned as the most expensive film ever made by Netflix. This production, directed by the Russo brothers, the same people responsible for Avengers Endgame, brings together a stellar cast headed by Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, and Ana de Armas. Jim Jarmusch's Only Lovers, Left Alive has a great curiosity in vampires' wardrobe: their wigs. Far from using traditional wigs, the actors who played vampires in the film wore special wigs that combined human hair with yak and goat hair. The film Armageddon, which is about a space mission to save planet Earth from an asteroid, is part of NASA's training program. During the screening of the film, future employees of the space agency must look for scientific and technical errors in the plot and scenes. To date, 168 errors have been detected. To play Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean saga, Johnny Depp was inspired by Keith Richards, the guitarist of the Rolling Stones. The kiss scene between Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain hides an incredible secret. What many do not know is that Ledger grabbed Gyllenhaal's head so hard to kiss him that he almost broke his nose. Legendary actor Sean Connery, known for his role as James Bond, passed up the opportunity to take part in some of the most successful films in history. These include the role of Morpheus in The Matrix, the role of Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, and he could have been John Hammond in Jurassic Park. Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury in the film Bohemian Rhapsody, was not a fan of Queen before taking on the role. In fact, he confessed to not knowing many of their songs. However, during the filming process, Malek completely immersed himself in Mercury's life and work, which led him to become a true admirer of the band. Barbra Streisand is the first woman in history to direct, write, produce, and star in the same film, which was called Yentl. The story of Yentl revolves around a young Jewish girl played by Barbra Streisand, who, in the 19th century, disguises herself as a man in order to study the Talmud, something forbidden to women in her community. Jennifer Lee is a talented screenwriter and director who achieved incredible things. In 2013, she co-directed Frozen with Chris Buck, becoming the first woman to direct a Disney animated film. But that's not all. With Frozen, she also became the first woman to direct a film that grossed over $1 billion at the box office. The character of Indiana Jones was created by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg as an homage to the adventure serials of the 1930s. The character is based on archaeologists and explorers such as Hiram Bingham, who discovered the lost city of Machu Picchu in 1911. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Robert Downey Jr. found himself in a spiral of addictions that led to his arrest on several occasions and being blacklisted in Hollywood. In 2005, the film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang came into his life like a lifeline. Director Shane Black, a personal friend of Downey Jr., gave him the opportunity to play Harry Lockhart, a private detective with a troubled past. This gave the actor the chance to prove that he still had talent and that he could be sober and work professionally. Famous actor Nicolas Cage is actually the nephew of acclaimed film director Francis Ford Coppola, who directed very famous films such as The Godfather. However, he chose to use a different stage name to distance himself from his famous uncle. His real name is Nicholas Kim Coppola. The top 3 movies that have won the most Oscars are 3 movies that won 11 awards. The first of these movies is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Another movie that shares this honor is Titanic, directed by James Cameron. And last but not least is Ben-Hur from 1959, which follows the life of a Jewish nobleman in the times of the Roman Empire. It also managed to take home 11 Oscars. Do you know what the most profitable movie in history is? It is the movie Paranormal Activity. This independent horror movie, released in 2007, had an extremely low production budget of around $15,000 to $20,000, which is extraordinarily cheap for a Hollywood movie. Despite this modest budget, the movie managed to gross over $193 million worldwide, making it the most profitable movie in history. Jennifer Lawrence, known for her role in The Hunger Games, once auditioned for the role of Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga, but lost the role to Kristen Stewart. During the filming of the opening scene in La La Land, the dance on the highway was filmed in just 2 days. A section of the highway was closed to film the scene, which was then digitally added to create the illusion of an empty road. The film Die Hard was initially intended to star Arnold Schwarzenegger. However, Schwarzenegger declined the role, leading to the casting of Bruce Willis to play John McClane. The Black Pearl, the ship made famous by the pirate Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp, has finally sunk and now rests permanently on the seabed. This event took place in 2017 in the waters of the Antilles, located north of Venezuela, under mysterious circumstances. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the first animated film in color and the first sound film produced by Walt Disney Productions in 1937. Eric Stoltz was originally cast to play Marty McFly from Back to the Future, but after filming several scenes, the producers decided he didn't fit the role and replaced him with Michael J. Fox. Although he is well known for being the 16th President of the United States, there is a fictional novel called Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, which imagines Lincoln as a vampire hunter in his spare time. American actor known for his role in the film Gravity, George Clooney, created a tequila brand called Casamigos. The brand was sold for $1 billion in 2017. Avatar, released in 2009, is the highest-grossing film of all time, with a worldwide gross of over $2.9 billion. It was also one of the first films to use 3D motion capture technology. The film Forrest Gump was filmed in over 100 different locations, which included 55 days of filming in 6 different states in the United States. Scarlett Johansson is the highest-grossing actress in film history. Her films have amassed over $14 billion as of 2023 with, for example, the film Asteroid City. Have you ever wondered who the character of Yoda from Star Wars is inspired by? The creators of Star Wars designed Yoda to look like Albert Einstein. To play Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything, the actor not only lost 15 pounds, but also trained for 4 months to achieve the muscle control and posture of someone with motor neuron disease. Redmayne spent hours practicing in front of the mirror, learning to distort his face in just the right way to reflect the effects of the disease. Saludos Amigos, released in 1942, holds the title of Disney's shortest film with a duration of only 42 minutes. The film was born in a particular context, World War II, in an effort to strengthen relations between the United States and Latin America. The American government financed a trip by Walt Disney and his team to South America. Quincy Jones was the one who suggested Oprah Winfrey to play Sophia in the film The Color Purple. Jones discovered the previously unknown Oprah Winfrey after seeing her on a local television show called AM Chicago while he was traveling. Her big screen debut not only earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress, but also cemented her as an influential figure in the entertainment world. Pocahontas, the Disney princess inspired by the true story of Matoka, a 17th century Native American woman, breaks the mold with a unique feature, a tattoo. It represents her lineage and her place within the Powhatan tribe. What fact surprised you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for part 4 of 50 interesting movie facts.